Welcome back to another episode of Let's Go Hunt. No longer required by law to use your preferred pronouns. We have Dave Packard free from the grips of an on-call. Sam Alexander soon to make his directorial debut with the upcoming films Kill Mike Volume 1 and 2. Neat. Vince H. Shotgun Cheater and squirting the salt away with a high-pressure hose. I'm Mike Gonsalves. Tonight, on our Around the Campfire, we have a listener question and changes coming to the Colorado draw system. Maybe, if we get to it. We might also talk about something I want to talk about, maybe, if we get to it.
But I bet we will.
Your tagline?
My tagline?
Yeah,
No.
squirting the salt away? That's disgusting.
Well, it was salty, and I had to squirt it away.
Squirt the salt away.
Sorry. Squirting all the salt off.
All right, so thank you for listening. Let's go hunt. Goodbye now.
Support the sport. Take your buddy hunting. If you like that, buddy.
Pretty sure we did that gag last week because of something else uncouth. I don't remember what it was though.
No, last week it was something bad. This time it was just something not good.
We're improving. Good.
See, that's the thing. And I've noticed this. I noticed this a long time ago. Somebody would like comment somewhere else and be like, "Oh yeah, when you guys were talking about blah 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 last week," I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely." What the fuck were we talking about? I don't remember.
Yeah, you're just now catching that?
No, I said I figured this a long time ago. I was
Oh,
bringing it up again.
Oh, gotcha. See, we already started our show, and I don't know what we're talking about. So,
yeah, what am I doing here?
Yeah, who are you guys?
Fucking Gideon. That's some bitch. Vince wins. Your prize is on the way. You handsome devil.
Oh, neat.
You fucking donkey.
I'm still holding out for that scope.
Nobody said he had good taste.
I'm still holding out for my low mount that I don't.
I'm still using my Guardian.
Oh, I bet you are. I bet you are holding out for a low mount.
Oh, I'm holding on to your low mount is what I'm doing.
Ooh, guys, I got something fun that's going to happen.
Oh,
you know that suppressor I told y'all about a while back that I won?
The sure.
You can.
I finally got. It got into my my FFL. I went in today and certified. So it has been submitted to the ATF for approval, and now I'm just waiting on that to come back. And I also bought a pistol, and that is going to be delivered tomorrow, and I should be able to pick that up on Thursday. So all in, I'm going to have some fun. Hopefully that suppressor comes back as fast as they say it's going to, because it's I want something to talk about. And that suppressor is light. It's light and small. I was just really surprised about how light it actually felt. The guys at the shop were like, dude, feel this. Like, hold this thing. It's 2.4 ounces.
Oh my God.
They play this game a lot at your local gun store?
I don't know.
Put it in your hands. Trust me.
This
one's smaller than the normal ones, but
but I'm gonna take that mediator and I'm gonna put it on there, but I think I'm gonna put it in the high mount, and then I'm gonna try and find a magnifier. And I'm either gonna try and put a magnifier behind the red dot on the pistol. Yes, I'm gonna have to hold it up near my face, Sam. I see the look. Yeah, like that. Like, or I'm gonna put the red dot further back and put a light on the Picatinny rail on top of the pistol, because I bought a Ruger Mark IV, which has the pick rail and the iron sights on top. So
Ruger Mark IV are just phenomenal 22 pistols. Anyway, I love Ruger Mark IV.
Yeah, the Mark IV came out a while ago, and it has the much easier. If not takedown, just field stripping. You can actually field strip the thing. I had a Mark III for a while, and putting the thing back together was like trying to reassemble a watch. It was not fun. and it was not intuitive. But from what I understand, the Mark IV is really straightforward. So
I do love
yeah.
a Mark IV. I need a Mark IV now.
The one I got is actually a Mark IV 2245, so it has it mimics the controls of the 1911, and it's the light model, so it has the aluminum barrel shroud and upper receiver.
Nice.
So
Do you have a threaded 22 rifle that you could throw that on eventually if you wanted to?
I have two. I've got the AR-22, and I've got a Ruger American rimfire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got stuff I can play with, but I wanted something
different.
special.
Something fancy.
Yeah.
No, that's badass. Hopefully that can comes back pretty quick. I've been seeing like down to a week on a trust.
Yeah, I got a single shot trust. I'm hoping it's not stupid long.
Mhm.
But when I was at the shop, the guys were having trouble with the e-form system. They're like, "Yeah, we couldn't submit multiple things today." And I'm like, "Crap," because I barely
Lovely.
got there before they closed. I got there like 30 minutes before they closed, and I've never submitted with e-forms before, and I've done the certification, yada yada yada. So I had no idea like how long it's supposed to take. But I went into my e-forms and changed my pin, and after I changed the pin, it actually went through, which was kind of weird. But I don't understand it. There was a guy there trying to submit a Form 1 SBR, and it wasn't like it wasn't letting him go through. So anyway, that's the exciting news I have.
That is exciting.
I am excited.
I can't wait to see your cans.
Excitement ensues.
That's pretty
that
cool.
at?
That trust
Where's
is
that
down
other
for a week. They used to still be the long way round.
I got this one, but it's kind of chonky when you put it on a 22 pistol. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
How much
fine.
does
I
that
don't
one
see
weigh?
the problem here.
I mean, it's really quiet, but it's a little unwieldy. My other thought was I thought about getting a Walther PPK-S, which is the 22 Walther, and putting the suppressor on that and making just a tiny little like assassin gun. But I had to follow my other autism.
I actually watched one of those explode today.
Oh, cool.
Or not today, but I have witnessed one of those explode. And it was, I can't remember what the hell happened, but like the fucking ejector went flying, the top of the barrel went dook, and it was just, I can't remember if it was because of cheap ammo or what the fuck it was, but we all got spalling. Like there was 3 of us in a line, and the guy shooting it, and I was standing off to the right side, and it just would pop, not suppressed or anything, just shooting 22 and fucking.
Probably
So-
had like probably had an out of battery detonation.
I had that happen to me at a competition one time, and it took me like 3 weeks to figure out that's what it was.
Man, I thought Mike was gonna go somewhere else with that.
You thought I was going to be dirty, and then it turns out I was telling a legitimate story. That's unfortunate for my reputation.
Yeah, I
For me.
blacked out. I have no idea what you actually said because I was waiting for the punchline, and then it didn't land, and I was like, "Wait, what happened?"
We don't know what to do with ourselves now, so we're just gonna quiet.
I was waiting for like, "Hey, yeah, that happened. That happened one time whenever I was with her." Yeah, never mind.
Oh, Bob, I know you guys don't have a 5 to 25 yet. I'm just waiting.
Are you being patient like me?
Silent and patient most of the
Dude,
time.
that was not very silent.
Most of the time. There was that caveat.
So, yeah, that's anyway, out of battery detonation. Yeah, it happened to me at a competition and sent to another round in the back of it, the first one, and some shrapnel came out the.
It oobed.
Yeah, I did oob. It was an oops.
I don't think I've ever had an out of battery detonation. I've had a squib. I've had a near squib, like a really light round factory round. I think I talked about the actual squib I had, and that's where I discovered that the powder is is sensitive to UV.
Oh yeah, right. I remember that story.
Yeah, my single action, I used to load 45 Colt for it constantly, so I was always refilling my powder throw, and so it was sitting in front of a window. And then at some point, when I moved away from my parents' property, and I came back like 6 months later, loaded some, I was like, Psh, oh, that wasn't right. And there was no ping on steel. It's like, oh, problem.
Yeah, it sounded weird when I did it, and everybody was like, "Stop!" As I was like letting my. It was a double tap. It was the first of a double tap, and I felt it weird, and I let off the trigger for the second one, and you know what? I don't remember anymore. I swear I sent a second round into the back of the first one and pulled 2 rounds out of it, but I don't remember. Maybe that was a different gun.
Okay, I think we know where the second round went. I have this strange gap in my memory. Didn't quite recall what happened.
Funny, the gap in my memory is about 355 diameter.
Whoops. Oh, then I shot the Earth that one time because I hate the planet. Mike was there for that.
Yeah,
It was fun.
yeah. You were like, "Fuck the Earth!" Bang, 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 and I was like, "Whoa
That was just
there."
one time. Just the one time. It was Mercy Hill.
Well, I hate to tell you, but the Earth is still dying.
Have you seen what happened in California? It's just a
Yeah.
very slow death. We'll get there.
Lead came from the earth. It can go
Returning to
back.
the Earth.
You were recycling.
Ashes to ashes,
Spontaneously.
dust.
All right. So
I-
we had a listener send in a question
Indeed.
on purpose, but probably not to this podcast. I think he meant to send it somewhere else because he led off with saying coming to the experts with a question.
He must
And,
have meant to send that to like.
All I have to say is that's a bit like asking your doctor a question and he leaves and then you see him on his phone 10 minutes later and you look over his shoulder and he's on Chat GPT going, what does this rash mean?
Actually, this question is like sending a text, an actual text to your physician's
question-
assistant.
This question is like asking a politician how you should budget your home. Dear Mitch McConnell, we make about, it's like calling in to Dave Ramsey's show, but Mitch McConnell's on the other end. We make 80,000 and we have 100,000 worth of debt. What do we do? Spend more. And then he just zones out and becomes a turtle for a couple minutes.
He just drools and pees a bunch. Welcome back, Mitch.
So, I mean, first of all, his handle is Tactical Gimli. Do you think he carries like one of those really cringe lord like tactical axes? Or does that just mean he can mount nods to his helmet?
I think he's a tall, slender, clean-shaven man.
Oh, so
I
it's another.
think-
So we're
I
getting
think it's an
catfish.
ironic name.
We're getting
I th-
catfish again.
think
So
he's
the
mission
exact opposite
specific.
of Gimli. Got it.
I think he's mission specifically short.
All right, we're going into the houses built in the 1900s. All the doorways are 5'10". We need the shorter guys for this one.
Mike is offended.
He's fine. Anyway, he says, coming to the experts with a question. I have 2 daughters, age 13 and 10, and a son, age 2. He's still got a few more years to go before this question applies to him. Are we going to read this verbatim?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My girls are
should
both
just read. Go.
They're super small for their ages. They are both ready to start taking a gun on their own into the woods for deer season, and I need help picking out what gun and what caliber to go with. Some of the details: we hunt on public ground in southern Illinois, or that's Illinois for us west of the Mississippi.
Illinois.
So it has to either be a shotgun with slugs, muzzle loader, or straight wall centerfire rifle. If it is a centerfire rifle, it has to be either a single shot or a bolt action with a magazine shelf / solid mag. No rounds can fit into a magazine. Gun choice, not really considering shotgun or muzzle loader. You can try to change my mind. So with a straight wall, do I go single shot so it's lighter for them to carry and easier on my wallet, so I get a better optic for them? I
You didn't have
get
to read it that word for word.
No, he
that's
did.
what I do. Then that's all it ever will be, just a single shot rifle. Or go bolt action, more options to choose from, but it would be harder to reload. Remember, they will have to open the bolt, twist the gun, throw in a rue round, and then close the bolt. Yes, sir. I know how it works.
That's how bolt action. I was
Oh.
doing it wrong. No wonder I couldn't take
no
more
shit.
shots.
You're,
No,
God,
this-
you're right. I thought.
This is way different.
Hopefully, I don't get banned on YouTube for this. I thought you grabbed the
Dude, we're
bolt,
getting
turned the rifle, pushed the rifle forward, pulled it back, and turned the rifle. I've been
No.
doing it wrong the whole time. Shit.
What he's saying is, it can be a bolt action, but it has to be a single shot. So no rounds can fit into a magazine,
I know
whether
that.
it's a floor plate or not.
I
I'm just
know that.
saying.
I had a sight gag. Get over it. Hang on. I'm dying of tuberculosis. Somebody else read.
Where were you?
we can
I
only
got
hope.
I got
I don't know.
distracted
I
by the
forgot
huge
where I
chat.
was at too.
All right, so
Twist the gun, throw in a new round, close the bolt, but it can be used later on in life by them for any kind of other hunting, making more options for them as they grow. So, actually, do we want to parse this out, or we'll just finish it? So the caliber debate: go 350 Legend for the lighter recoil, so they actually like shooting their gun, or the flip side, go 450 Bushmaster for more power and less chance of less chance of a deer runs
Less
far.
of a chance that
Less of a chance the deer runs far. Remember, we hunt public, so I want to avoid messing up someone else's hunt. I hunt with 450 Bushmaster myself, so I already have tons of ammo, and both of them have shot mine. Any help or ideas would be greatly appreciated. Feel free to use this question on the podcast if you want. Thanks. I still think he should have to twist the rifle when you do the bolt. That's actually far cool.
it's like that. It's like that reel where the woman like flips the pan over on the pancake and then just rather than just flip the pancake, like moves the rifle underneath your hand as you work the
You
bolt.
hold
Like,
the bolt, you rotate the rifle to the left, you slide it
God.
forward, you slide it back, and you crank it down. Oh, did my demonstration not show on camera?
Let me see.
it showed kind of.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Dude,
so intuitive. Then you don't have to
so
take
efficient.
Oh boy.
So
All right, Mike, go.
I have a couple thoughts on this. First, he said that girls are super small, so a smaller rifle is actually probably the way to go, and a lot of single shots are going to be a little bit smaller length of pull. You got to go find one that fits them, and that's the problem with Illinois is actually finding that kind of stuff, and Illinois sucks. Sorry. But the
Roden says, "How do you guys run a bolt? Does he need another demonstration?"
no more bolt demonstrations. Keep your bolt in your
I'm
pants.
just going to demonstrate.
Damn it, Roan.
Roan's gonna unsubscribe.
I agree with your thought on keeping it light, keeping a single shot alone because if you have a gun with a magazine designed to take a magazine, it's going to be a lot heavier. Again, they're small. You want something that go light, get a light optic. You're going out to, what did we see, 200 yards? So you're not looking to reach very far. As far as your ammo, I really do think 350 Legend's probably the better choice. 450 is a lot for a small girl to hunt with. If they've shot it, that's one thing, but shooting at a living animal is a completely different thing. They're mind can't be on the recoil at all. If they think at all as they're trying to aim, I'm going to get kicked by this gun, they're going to miss. They need to be completely focused on that sight and have the confidence to pull the trigger and not even notice the recoil. And I think if they're a little bit smaller, 450 is going to have a bigger impact on them. No pun intended this time.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
All right then.
Dave?
I might bounce a little bit of the legality off of you, Vince, because I know you've done some research with it, but is a lever gun in the running?
Okay, so
Fed.
I asked a couple of follow-up questions about this and then did a little bit of my own research.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you cannot be able to readily restore the firearm to a state where it can shoot multiple rounds. So you can't go out there with like a magazine-fed bolt action with
Mhm.
a magazine with you, but you just have like the dummy magazine in there with the sled on it, so you can just throw one in. You
Okay.
can't have the other magazine with you. I'm gonna bet you could probably maybe have it in your vehicle, but that may even be a little bit of a little bit of a stretch. So yes, you can use anything where you could alter it to where it cannot shoot multiple rounds at once. So you could actually, I think he said that you could take a lever gun and plug it and just plug
Okay.
that magazine. You could take a lever gun and remove the spring and the follower from the magazine, but then you'd have the problem where you could, or I don't know how quick that would be with feeding around into the chamber.
Does it have to
really
be a
depends on the
permanent?
lever gun.
It doesn't have to be permanent. It doesn't have to
Okay.
be legally permanent like a pin and weld on a 14.5 barrel.
So
would be
it'd be
permanent.
like my 1187 here. I'll throw a plug in
Yes.
for hunting season, and then I can take it out when I don't.
Is it
Yes,
a single
it's
shot
much closer to
restriction on
that.
all hunters? Like they're only allowed one shot?
No.
Or is it just the youth?
You can shove as many rounds in your pockets as you want, and it's not
Mhm.
just the youth. It's a single shot for your
damn it.
straight walled
Center fire.
center
Rifle.
fire.
Okay.
Okay. I would venture to go. I would also go the 350 Legend route, and I would go for a lever gun because you could use it for a lot of different stuff, especially if it'll be legal for where you hunt, and if you go somewhere else to hunt, it'll be legal there too.
He did mention wanting to be able to use this later on and having
Yeah.
something more interesting for the kids, and also shooting hogs in Texas with it. So the single shot, while I agree with Mike that having a single shot that's light and handy and that they can handle easily is a good idea. If you also want something that is more interesting to use later, then you're going to be spending more, and you're going to be looking at something that's also heavier.
I would also bounce off that. I know he's balling on a budget, but I would almost buy once, cry once, kind of. You don't have to go full out like a stag AR-15, anything like that, where it's $1,500. But if you got something that works for multiple uses, but it's going to cost you a little bit more than just a single shot breakover rifle, I would rather go that route. Sam,
What
have
lever
the-
guns are on 350 Legend? I feel like
I
I should know
am-
that there are some, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
the Henry Long Ranger.
I'm sharing my screen.
Okay,
Okay.
so it has to. So
Oh wait,
there we
you
go.
said lever guns. I got the single shot up right now.
Okay.
okay,
Aren't lever guns kind of heavy though?
There's a CVA.
lever
They
guns
are.
usually pretty light.
But-
And
Lever guns are light to normal humans. To a small girl, they might be pretty heavy.
Okay, but
And
the thing that I think about it is on their back, it's not going to be as bad as them holding it out in front of them. And if that's an issue, I think you should have some sort of rest, whether it's a tripod, a bipod, a monopod,
Yes.
whatever.
So
I carry one for my daughter who's fucking 160 pounds and 13 years
don't-
old now.
I don't understand this
I think
tripod
she could
thing
beat me
shooting
up.
them standing up. I shot mine with a bipod laying on the ground. Like when I was a kid, all of my animals, except for with the exception of the one I shot in Africa, and that, but everything else has been off a bipod in a truck or in a on the ground. Well, no,
in
it
the
was in a
truck.
tr-
Oh,
the one in Africa was off a truck. I think I told that story. Yeah, I know,
Rossi
Dave.
and
Fuck off.
CBA
Okay,
both make a single shot, and of the two, I kind of like the Rossi better. It's more compact.
That
It's
is really
running a
pretty.
16.5-inch barrel. And at 300 and some odd dollars, probably less, because I think that's MSRP. I would cut that down in a heartbeat for length of pull.
Yeah,
I would not care about cutting that down.
I was just saying I was going to ask about length of pull options, like
Well, hang on,
adjustable.
hang
And
on.
I
Wait,
guess
wait,
if
wait,
you
wait.
paid $300 for it, take a
Before we
sausage.
get
I'm-
lost,
It's yours.
I may be mistaken here.
Are you sure you're
before
not
we get
I
lost
mistaken?
in the
think-
weeds, hang on. Wait. Dave, you can spend a moment looking that up. Why 350 Legend? We never actually went into that necessarily. Because my first intention when we read this question, because it did not specify information that came out a little bit later, was 410 with slugs, particularly because then they can flex back and forth between having a little slug gun for deer or a little shotgun action for small game.
So with the 410, there's actually okay. So for slugs, you still want something like a cylinder bore. So you need something with either cylinder bore or improved cylinder, or something with an adjustable choke or replaceable chokes.
Mm-hmm.
And your list of those are actually pretty short. I think there's a couple of single shots, some of the newer ones that do have the replaceable chokes, and the other one would be the Henry Model X 410 that is kind of their more, it's got polymer furniture on it and such. And it does have replaceable chokes. You can, put a cylinder bore in there and then put a full choke in there for use in flying things. But I mean, I don't think
there's the
410 is a
leverage.
bad option for shooting deer with a shotgun, but also, I mean, it's well short of the max range that he lists, and it's also well
that's
over the budget that he lists too.
Well, the Henry X model is for sure, but that's also something that wasn't listed in the original question, which you followed up on, which was he listed his max range at like 200 yards, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, and
floating around
200 yards with any slug gun,
right?
regardless of
Which shoots
you know,
that shoots 410 in the back of the head, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, 350 Legend will reach out to that distance. So I think I wanted to make sure we touched base on not just 350 Legend, but also touch base on 410 real quick.
Now, okay, I'm going to launch into this a little bit because I did do some research on it, and what I discovered was, so his original assertion that you needed to have a straight wall case is actually not correct. You can use some bottleneck cartridges in Illinois for deer, but there's several thresholds you need to meet. One is that you can only use factory ammo. That's across the board. You can't use reloads, which is dumb, but that's just how it is. That's number one. Number two is it has to be able to, the factory load you're using has to be able to generate at least 500 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. Okay. Number three, if you're using a bottleneck cartridge, the case, not the loaded round, but the case, the little piece of brass, can be no longer than 1 2/5 inches, which happens to be just over 300 blackout. and just under 7.62 by 3.9, which I don't think is an accident. So you can use 300
Oh.
blackout to hunt deer in Illinois, but you cannot use 30-06 or 30-30 or anything like that. And I think the reason for that is they have some kind of I think the reasoning has to do with like, oh, it's going to go too far and shoot through somebody's house and kill an innocent bystander. But also you can use 500 Nitro Express because it's a straight wall case. So
Wait, so
I
you
think
can
it's
go.
probably just arbitrary rules for the sake of being arbitrary. But
It's
that's maybe
arbitrary
just something
rules based on fear that don't have any kind of actual holistic reasoning behind them. You should go look up the list of approved cartridges that it says on there. This is not all inclusive, but this is what we know of that fits the bill.
Ooh.
And it's actually kind of hilarious to be reading it. No, I don't think 243 Wisdom or Winchester super short Magnum will work. I think that the case is still longer than 1 2/5 inches, so 1.4 inches. But so you can actually use, there's a number of things you can use. You can use 9mm. You can use 327 Federal Magnum. You can use 357 Magnum, 44
Mhm.
Magnum, 45 Colt. Wait, 40? Yeah, those are all straightable. You can actually, I think 3220 you can use, but you can. So looking at all of those, like there's some modern options there that kind of stand out, I think. Also, you know, of course, 350 Legend. So if you found like an old H&R chambered in 357 Magnum or 357 Maximum, that would be a really useful option, especially in the single shot realm, though the number of those still in existence that you can go buy cheap. I mean, you used to be able to get one of those for like $150. That was 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and that's no longer the thing. Henry still makes, so if you want a single shot that's easy to use, lighter weight, but also nicer, because the Henry single shots are actually really nice looking rifles. Henry makes a single shot 357 Magnum rifle, which, I mean, that's one direction you could go.
That's pretty cool.
Another, there are a number of so getting away from 350 Legend, I don't think 450 Bushmaster is a good idea. If you were willing to go somewhere like 357 Magnum and shorten your maximum shooting distance by just a little bit, because in a rifle, you know, you'll still get 150 yards pretty easy out of a 357 Magnum, I think. There's a number of lever actions out there that you could do the magazine modification and make a little single shot lever gun.
I have a caveat to that.
What's that?
They do not make a 350 Legend lever gun like I thought they did.
No one does?
No one. Fucking no one.
That's why I kind of went to 357 Magnum, especially with, you know, smaller stature, possibly recoil sensitive. The thing is, when you get to those lever guns, you are going to probably get what you pay for. So I'm looking on Palmetto State Armory right now, and I'm gonna share my screen again. I'm looking on, let's see. There we go. Palmetto State Armory. And there's a G-Force Saddle Horn 357 Magnum, 5-round, short magazine. Except I have no idea about G-Force. I have no idea how good they are. I think they're Turkish made based on the Winchester 92 action. And, you know, your mileage may vary. It does have a pick rail, so you could put a red dot on it or something like that. But, you know, quality, probably not the best thing out there. The more you spend on it, like even a Rossi R92, is probably better.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be pretty lightweight. Like, actually, these rifles, one of the worst recoiling rifles I've ever shot is a 30-30 Winchester Model 94, because the thing weighs 5 pounds. I mean, it is not a fun gun to shoot. And so, shut up.
I disagree, sir.
It's not a fun gun to shoot. I was shooting a 308, a Savage Model 99 308 right next to it, and the 308 was much more pleasant to actually shoot.
I mean, you've got weak blood. That's all I have to say.
You've got
I think he just called you a bitch.
you've got a weak bone structure. I don't know.
Writing down
Ooh.
both of those.
I mean, you get up into the Marlins and they get a little bit heavier, but man, that's a nice rifle. And you can modify it to be single shot, and then you can move on into, shooting hogs in Texas with a lever action 357 with the kids. There is something to be said about saving a little money and getting a nice lever gun, or even, I mean, honestly, the Rozzy looks not bad, and maybe you could polish it up and make it actually run pretty good. But then, let's see.
Even Bob's ripping on you. Did I mention my daughter shot a 30-30 Model 94? 0 tears. Rip Vince.
Why don't you shut up, okay? I'm not saying it can be done, but it's not a pleasant gun to shoot.
I think
don't lie
Bob's
to
daughter
me.
weighs more than Vince does.
That's well.
She's 22 and does roller derby.
Look, Dave just mentioned his daughter, and she outweighs me. Okay, so let's not.
My daughter's a big kid, man.
I
She's
I
not
heard that
small.
like
She's
damn,
taller than Mike.
I bet she could kick my ass.
She could probably kick my ass by the sounds of it.
So, okay, I looked into this quite a bit. So you can use 300 blackout to hunt deer because it's a bottleneck cartridge and the case is short enough. But also then I realized there is a firearm that is chambered in both 300 blackout and 350 legend, and that is the new. Well, there's also the Gen 1, but let's see.
Are we thinking the same gun here?
The Ruger American Gen 2.
That's exactly where I was about to go, because that's what I was looking at it in 350 Legend until you mentioned 300 Blackout, and I was like, forget 350 Legend. I'm on the Blackout train for this one.
I'm looking at the one thing is the weight, maybe just a little bit heavier, but you could easily put a lightweight optic. You're not shooting very far.
They can hit the gym.
Um,
If your gun's too heavy, do some push-ups.
I mean, it's only 6.2 pounds, but the thing about the Gen 2, and the Gen 1's probably fine as well, and it's a little bit lighter, but the Gen 2 comes with an adjustable stock. You can take the spacer out, and it's got a much shorter stock. You can get it in 300 blackout or 350 legend. And you could easily put
they make a
sled in there.
Yeah, it's one-shot sled for the Ruger American short action rifles.
Yep. I mean,
easily modded, and then also easy to pull out, and then you can do those. I believe those take a detachable mag from the factory, don't they? Yeah,
they take AR mags.
Well, there you go. I mean, and especially since he mentioned hog hunting,
yeah,
later in life, to me that's like, oh, sold. You can throw the little sled in there to get your single shot to stay legal in Illinois, and then as soon as you cross the border, you get out the screw gun, zip, off you go.
I mean, and even the Gen 1, if you found a cheap, you could find those run about 600 new. You could probably find a used 300 blackout for much less than that, and then you could mod the stock and do, Bubba Gunsmith at home things and make it fit way better, for smaller statured shooters. But if you just wanted the point and click over the counter option, the Ruger American Gen 2 either 300 blackout if you want a little bit less recoil, because you can use 300 blackout. That's one thing he didn't know at the time whenever he originally asked the question, was that you could actually use 300 blackout on deer.
Mhm.
So you could use that one, or if you wanted a little bit more thump and you just wanted that 350 Legend because it's cool, you could go use the Ruger American Gen 2 350 Legend and get the little sled and pull the spacers out of the stock, and you're off to the races. You're talking probably, if you got a lightweight optic, you're still talking 7.5, maybe 8 pounds. But if it had to be super lightweight, you could just do a red dot or a micro prism, or I don't know. I think those are your options: red dot or micro prism. And then later
How
on,
much?
put an LPVO on it.
How much was that Ruger?
It's
The one
still
I'm looking at,
550 to 600.
yeah, the one I'm looking at, the
Okay,
300
yeah.
blackout is $599.
Okay, yeah. Howa Mini Action also has a 300 blackout, and it's a little bit cheaper, not by much, but it's right around 500.
Oh, I like the Howa Mini Action. I've got one. I've got
Yeah.
one in 6.5 Grendel. Those are nice rifles.
Yeah, if you can
Uh,
get,
and-
as long
I
as
mean-
you can get a mag, you can get a little mag blocker for it.
Yeah.
That's a good choice too.
Mhm.
Going
That would
back
be
to like the single
cool.
shot thing, I think the single shot's a good idea if you plan on upgrading later. If you're
Well,
fine
that
with
was-
using that for 2 or 3 or 4 years, and then later on you want to get something else and spend more money, by all means, that's
Well, that's what I
a
was going to
perfectly
suggest.
serviceable option.
If he has to arm both kids, get the older one, like the Ruger, and then get the younger one a single shot, and then as time goes on,
Yeah, just pass shit down.
yeah,
All
be like,
right.
look, older child, you're old enough to go get a job. Go away.
I was muted. I was saying he can use the same rifle for both kids at the same time as well. Like growing
All
up,
right. Child number 1, you hold the stock and pull the trigger. Child number 2, you're in charge of aiming.
My
All right.
God, would you pull that trigger for me?
all right, peckerheads.
No, what you do is
Gaff.
you wrap your arm
What?
around here, and they put the barrel through here, and they fire this direction. They rest it
Gaff,
on
will
your
you-
shoulder.
Garth, will you run my bolt for me, sir? No, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to move the rifle.
No, I'll hold the boat. You move the rifle. There we go. That's a good chap.
Mike's big mad right now.
Not big mad, big annoyed.
You hadn't said anything in 20 minutes, and that happens.
He Mike really wants a straight pull though, so that Garth can just do this motion with it.
Goth, I need a straight pull.
Oh, see, now you join in, you fuck.
I've been joining since the beginning, you dickheads. You're still
No, you didn't.
dickheads
You
for
sat
doing it.
there disapproved.
I've never.
All right.
approved.
Anybody got anything else on that? I think
Yeah, I did
Okay,
until they
okay,
fucking
okay.
interrupted me
Well, we have to get our shots in because
because you can't shoot me any other way. Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
Garth
support the
can't
sport.
take all of them.
I can run away way faster than you can, sir.
Goth, shoot these motherfuckers for me.
Garth, take this knife and scalp them, please. I want
This
to
one's-
tan their scalps and staple them to my wall.
This one's still alive. Perfect. Just as good.
No, Garth, will you please whisper just as good in his ear? Thank you.
He whispers, just as Goth.
Anyway,
oi, mate,
your thought.
just as good.
Anyway.
Yep, there we go.
We all grew up using the same 243 for big game hunting. Like we all learned to shoot on it. We all shot our first big game animal with it, and then Fish Squeezer eventually upgraded to the same 30-06 he's been using since that same time frame. I remember being anxious, scared of the 30-06, scared of the kick, and I never wanted to use it to hunt, and that's why I brought up the bigger caliber thing, or it's one of the many reasons anyway. But yeah, you use the same rifle for both kids. If cost is an issue and you're trying to keep it under budget, obviously you can't go out and buy multiple rifles for everybody. and they can and will be able to use it later on in life. If you do end up chopping the end off, you can add a pad later.
Look at you now, having a 30-06 AR. How fun of you.
Would you just forget about it already?
No,
So that'd be my recommendation. Ruger American 300 Blackout.
I kind of like that one too, especially
Mhm.
the 300 Blackout's got a lot. It's got more staying power than the 350. I think just in general, and also it's going to be effective enough for deer.
Mm-hmm.
Effective enough. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be better than the 350, but also if you're going to go shoot hogs later on and stuff with it, then yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
It would have multiple uses too. Like hell, Gimli can shoot it too and have fun with it.
I mean, if you build
Ooh,
a
I bet he
300
would.
Blackout AR with the proper mag, floor plate kind of deal, you're a mag away from getting into just a regular ass rifle that you can use for any other things that you want. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just over here
What
looking
are
at the Ruger American Gen 2s. Like it seems like they did a lot right with it.
they did. I do like that. I like my Gen 1, but I want a Gen 2.
It's almost like they listened. It's weird. It's very unlike Ruger.
Do they have a locking bolt? Like where it doesn't
No,
fuck.
no, they don't. They don't do that. That's the industry went away from that. It for insurance reasons. It's either 3-position or 2-position. It's unlocked all the time.
Mm. That's one thing that I do love is a locking bolt. My Browning X bolt has a locking bolt. And when I'm walking, my bolt doesn't fucking open if I brush my hand back.
That's a good
Whereas
thing.
my
I just duct tape
Ruger
mine down.
American does.
I just have Garth hold my bolt closed for me.
There you go. Just walk
Walks
alongside
behind
you.
you and just
Garth,
it's
hold my
coming a
bolt
bit out,
closed.
watches it and it comes up and
I put in a special safety on my old Remington 722 that you push down on the safety to unlock the bolt if you want to open it with the safety on. But otherwise, it's locked.
This is why the old
Well,
Mauser
that's fucking
safeties are
handy.
best. The 3-position flag safety and an old Mauser, man. Best safety in the world for a bolt gun. Man, poor Montana Dirt Roads is gonna have to stop watching us. 'cause
Bye-bye.
We're about to get banned again.
Okay. So. Oh no. My beer board is falling. So, Browning
The
X.
Great Wall of Keystone has fallen.
Don't hate me for my side over bore. I misjudged my rings. But
Oh, you should have seen the first rings. No, you probably did see the picture of the very first rings I bought.
oh
They were
yeah, yours are
extra
tall.
highs. But
Yeah.
it's a yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. So this one bolt is locked, but it's got this button here on this bolt that I push, and then it flips up. Or if I take it off safe, then it flips up. But if I get back in there, some bitch, there we go.
That's what she said.
Safe's on,
Yeah.
no bolt. Push the
Right.
button, and bolt comes up. I fucking love that.
I do believe the safety on my mouse or my sour keeps the bolt closed if it's engaged, and then you can open the bolt when it's disengaged. That's a good feature to have, especially if you're walking around and the safety's engaged, keeps the bolt closed. Accomplishes the same purpose. I love it, and I didn't even know that was a thing that.
Dude, it drives me crazy carrying this fucking my Ruger. Oh, Jesus Christ. Constantly I have to close my bolt. It could be a fault of me walking, but I guess I'll
I mean, you
train
put the
myself
bolt
to
on
walk
your-
like this.
You put the gun on your shoulder with, with the strap over your shoulder, and it's just rubbing against your back, and suddenly, pop, it's open.
Hmm. Well, I always carry right side. So, and I've tried carrying safari, I guess what they say, with muzzle down. And bolt is digging into my fat lump, my love handle. And then it opens that way. And then I'm like, well, shit, fuck. What do?
Yeah, what do?
Going through brush. When I took 2 years ago, when I took my Bergara out by Grand Junction to look for bear, my bolt kept opening up every time I went through a bush.
Dude, it fucking drives me crazy.
Then I got a
Yes.
shoestring and I tried to tie it down. And then the ATF shot my dog. Oh, that was my SKS. Oops, wrong gun.
God
Shot
damn
my
it,
dog.
ATF. They shirt my dirg.
Shoot my dog.
Yeah, we don't take kindly to people who shoot dogs around here.
They shirt my dirg.
They shoot his dog.
Shirt my dirg.
You shoot the dog.
That's a fact. We ran that one into the ground. Well,
Do you still
Look at
have
that.
that
Back to the
that
pile.
Dave spotlighting soundbite?
oh, yeah. Crap, though. Hang on.
Oh.
I didn't upload it to the
Oh.
board.
Oh, okay.
Somebody talk. It's about something random.
All right, so
Mike,
I had
what do you
I
got?
had a random thing to talk about.
All right.
Let me pose you guys a scenario. You're out there, you're setting up decoys at like 5:30 in the morning or whatever the fuck, and you're on private land in a cornfield setting up decoys. You have the landowner's permission to be out there, and you just happen to be next to a highway. As you're setting up decoys, a police car pulls up about a quarter mile away on the highway, shines spotlight on
Run.
you, and then comes
Run.
just driving down the 2 tracks straight at you with its red and blues on.
Cowabunga it is.
So you guys have chosen violence, got it.
I knew this day would come.
You ever seen secondhand lions? Where they're just sitting up front with shotguns.
He didn't say what kind of decoys he was putting out.
Touche.
He also didn't say what kind of cop it was. What kind of decoys would attract an ICE officer these days?
Do they
Just a
make
bunch
hog?
of child-sized mannequins.
Do they make hog decoys?
Anyway, what is your question?
We're not doing this.
It's got a Dunkin' Donut sign just out in the middle of the water.
Just a box of donuts in a
No.
field.
It's Daylight Donuts. They know where the good stuff is.
He's got a bunch of silhouettes out there, and they're all spray painted black.
They shine the spotlight. Do you think they're open?
I think they are, and that's why they were coming at you so fast.
So anyway, Mike, continue. If you can.
I think I'm dead. I am deceased, guys. Sorry.
So what would we do? Be like hunting you, and they'd be like,
Same.
wonder what you're doing. Cool. See
Like
ya.
that.
What are you doing? Hunting. What are you doing? Copping.
Okay, so if this is any advice for listeners, always pack around a little tiny, like the little Debbie rolls of donuts.
Oh,
Just
no.
if it's
Alright.
if it's not like if it doesn't actually work, it'll be ironic and it'll be funny.
So
So-
not dime bags of oregano?
They're
No,
like
don't do
grenades. You
that.
just rip them open, throw them at the cop, and run away.
Like the second they come screaming up, you just rip out that bag and just start tossing little Debbies on the ground in front of you, hoping they go for those like dog treats. And
You're
hoping-
throwing the
It's
chocolate
not
pack
little
of
ones,
wolves.
and
It's
and
hostess.
you realize it's time to run, so you're like, quick, throw a smoke grenade. You pull out a powdered sugar, and
Yeah.
Turns out
These
cops,
are jelly filled.
that's okay. So is he.
turns out cops are like vampires. They can't leave until they count all the donuts on the floor.
It's like that Family Guy episode where they trap James Woods twice with a piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. And then at the end of the second one, Peter's like, we should remember this for the first time next time because this has worked twice. Anyway, keep in mind we're not lawyers and this is not legal advice, and we're not your lawyer, so this is not legal advice.
Was this a real question scenario?
Well, it kind of is a real question. The reason I'm asking is because Colorado has a state law where you must provide your hunting license to any peace officer upon request. And this particular situation came up in a Facebook group that I'm a part of, and I was reading that, and I was like, fuck that guy. But also, here's what you should actually do legally to stay out of
An
trouble.
argument though.
No,
Well, that's good first. Good job.
not this time. I only tell the idiots they're idiots. These guys were. So anyway, these guys got harassed by Willikin, I believe, PD. They were on a dude's land.
Fucking dox him, bud.
I don't really give a fuck. They don't. There's no names. Willikin PD can fuck off from the words from this story apparently, but
I don't even think those are real words. So whatever.
Yeah, if you can't spell it, you can't find it. So he goes up and he's harassing these duck hunters maybe they're goose hunters in a field, whatever. And he's like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they're like, obviously hunting. Do you have permission to be here? Like, he just gave him the whole thing, demanded IDs, et cetera, and it can be a very confrontational situation, and tempers can get flared. And I wanted to talk about how this is how I'm going to handle it should it happen. And this isn't legal advice. I'm not your lawyer, but Colorado law says you have to provide your hunting license. Along with your hunting license, you have to provide your ID so they can verify it's you, obviously. Those are the two things you are required to give any cop that stops you while you're hunting and you're legally in the right, such as these guys who were on somebody else's land they had permission to be on, et cetera, et cetera. Barring that, like, the cop rolls up all hot and bothered. Obviously, he's got his red and blues on. He's about ready to bust some trespassers. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but
well, you know what's going on, right?
He was bored, and
No.
some Karen called that these dudes. I mean, it's
no.
it's Milliken. That's what it is.
That cop used to have permission to hunt that field, and he lost it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Bored.
I don't know.
That is a plot twist.
It sounds
That
personal.
is a plot twist.
Or
It felt personal.
he thought he had sole permission.
Ooh.
Something. Yeah. This is pure speculation. But
Yeah,
granted,
I liked
there
the
are
Karen
plenty
route, but this is a good one too.
There are plenty of just flat out dickheads in the world, but I would like to think that he thought, my fucking field, what you doing out here?
I'll pull you over because you're in my honey hole.
Yeah.
I'm about to get in yours.
Plenty of cops have an ego like the Hindenburg.
Mhm.
Okay.
And this is a good
Well,
method to, and I'm not going to say it's going to make the Hindenburg explode and run away, but legally, you are required to provide your ID and the hunting license. As soon as you do that, and it is very obvious you are legally where you are supposed to be and you're legally conducting your business, the interaction with him is over. He has no, like, his reasonable suspicion for the stop has ceased. So he has no further interaction, no need to interact with you. And you can be polite, you can be rude. I don't give a fuck what you do, but you don't have to answer any questions, and you damn sure don't have to talk to him once you've provided your license and
So
What-
Mike turns his back on the cop after providing his hunting license, and he becomes the White Rodney King.
That's fair. I'm not saying be hostile. I'm not saying be nice. I'm just saying at a certain point, legally, his reason for interacting with you is over, and he can no longer legally interact with you. He has to leave. And if he pushes it, that's I mean,
Yeah, I mean, did they mention how this actually ended?
yeah,
at all?
he left. He
That's
had to leave.
surprising.
Um,
That's surprising he left.
what's
would've
he gonna
not been-
do? Just keep pushing for
Oh
something that's
yeah,
not there?
all day long.
The
I
way
wouldn't
the
be
story
surprised.
sounded, he tried, but there's nothing there.
I wouldn't be surprised if now you'd put. I mean, yeah.
Montana Dirt Roads in the chat brings up a good point. Make a scene. They all have cameras. When I duck hunt, I have my GoPro on my head. So turn that thing on. And frankly, remember that you're being filmed too. And maybe
I love
politeness
it
is
when they. I love it in footage and stuff, and they show up and like, oh, put the camera down. You're not allowed to film that. It's like, yes, they are.
yeah.
Don't film me. Like, why don't you want me to film me? What are you planning on doing?
The reason I brought this up is it's not it's part of the Facebook thing, but also wife and I were talking, and little kids love to just volunteer information they really shouldn't. And we were talking about how our daughter likes to do that, and we both look at each other and go, she needs to learn to shut the fuck up sometimes. And that's the whole
not how
point of this is
Operate.
it's some like you have a right to remain silent. Use it. Don't offer information. Yes, I'm legally duck hunting. Now that you have established that I am legally duck hunting, bye. That's it.
Yeah,
You
I got
can-
a bunch of kids under like 10 and under. It's like, shh.
Right.
Daddy, why are you shushing us?
Because shut up.
But why?
Because you're
I
the
think-
type that looks at the sign that says no guns and looks at me and loudly says, Daddy, do you have your gun?
But
That's
Daddy,
why.
you do. But Daddy, you do have your gun. I saw it.
Just shut up.
I have had explicit conversations with my son. I'll just leave that there.
But Daddy, you can't lie. You said lying is bad.
You're
Ugh,
making it worse. We haven't
That's
gotten
something.
there yet.
that's how kids are, man. What
You're
what
right.
can I say?
Look at that dog.
This is Bark Ruffalo.
Hi, Bark
She
Ruffalo.
is terrified.
Yeah, I can tell.
of
But why?
the scoops.
Oh, there she goes. She gone.
I heard some.
She gone.
I heard some cans.
That was
Ooh,
what
bottle.
did fall off of here,
Oh,
but
But you replaced it with
just
what you had
fucking-
drunk.
Yep, it has been
there we
replaced.
go.
So anyway,
there we go.
you guys have thoughts on that?
I mean, know the laws in your locality and what you
Yeah.
are required to do and not required to do. It's the same thing with concealed carry, duty to inform versus duty to inform upon request versus no duty to inform at all.
Valid.
So
and if they
Actually-
put you in the back of the cop car, that's the best place for your duty.
But then you got to sit there.
so do they.
here comes that gas station burrito.
Wait for him to get in the car and do it as a power move. Hey,
Eye contact.
here comes
eye
that gas
contact.
station burrito. Oof.
So you're lucky you cuffed my hands behind my back. Or it come out solid.
Now it's just going to come out through the chains.
I actually don't know if I'm required to present my hunting license to anybody but a game warden in Oklahoma. I actually don't know.
That is another reason I brought this up, because some of these people in the comments of this particular post were saying, tell that cop to pound sand. He doesn't have the right to ask you anything. And he does have the right to ask if you're out there legally doing what you're doing, especially if he got a report or he's jealous that he's not the only one allowed to hunt there. But
Though
as
that's
soon
very
as
good to
you're-
know.
Right.
That's good to know that once you present a hunting license and your ID, then the interview is over because plausible, like the reason
Reasonable
for
suspicion.
right, the reasonable suspicion is gone. Like, and he doesn't have a right to verify that you have written permission to hunt that area or
Correct.
whatever.
If he wants that information, he can look the landowner up and he can go find that out himself. He's a cop. He can investigate the shit he wants to investigate. But his investigation of us is over. Because there's nothing to investigate. You can't. I do one thing real quick, Dave. I did ask
Yeah,
Fish
go ahead.
Squeezer about this, and he provided me with the Colorado revised statute that states this. It is Oklahoma might have something like that, but I don't know. Something you'd have to look up. But like you said, know your laws. It's CRS 33-6-101.
Oh yeah, I know that right off the top of my head.
I guess you could have just
anyway.
said it.
I've gotten in the habit of whenever I'm asking for permission, I do it in text message because that is proof.
That's written permission.
That's written permission. So, and it's easy to pull up on your phone. And I've had CBW officers tell me, it's like, hey, if you have a text, that's fine. That's written permission. Down here, it's old school kind of way where everybody either wants to knock at their door or an actual phone call and doesn't want to text because they're like, oh, that daggone text shit.
They're boomers.
Yeah.
They're still figuring out email.
I may be a FUD, but they're boomers.
Yeah.
Mama will say the text messages are the devil.
But I've gotten in the habit of like when I call to ask for permission, I ask if I could text them to ask for permission. They'll say yes. That way I have a paper trail. So a text message in Colorado is legal.
Excellent.
For private land shit.
I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but I kind of feel I think that if you have a text message, that's probably legally like that counts as permission.
Yeah.
Like written
No,
permission.
that is
just
written
logically.
permission.
Like even
It doesn't have to be
outside of
notarized and signed by both parties.
right outside of Colorado, even like logically that should count as written permission.
Mm-hmm.
Unless specifically stated, like no, it has to be notarized and there has to be a 7-day cooling off period and nonsense like that.
In cursive.
Now, Dave, I just want to clarify something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't need written permission to hunt land unless specifically written otherwise, such as using nods and stuff to hunt coyotes.
No, you need written permission to hunt private ground. I think that is across the board. I could be wrong, but
Okay.
as I understand it, it is across the board to hunt private ground, regardless of what you're hunting, when you're hunting.
Well, yeah, because you can't go on somebody's land without permission.
Well, yeah, it's called
whether
trespassing,
it's
but
antelope
the
at
landowner
8 in the
has to
morning.
press charges for trespassing. A cop can't just come up to somebody on land and demand to see ID. That's what I'm getting at here.
But a CPW officer can.
Well, he would have to have reasonable suspicion that you're
Also,
hunting before
let's
you.
not
If you're in
split-
orange, then yeah. But
And let's not split this hair. I mean,
No.
Yeah,
No, that's
you're
fine.
right. I am being a little hairy. I apologize.
no, I'm just saying, like, this is like, well, technically, it's like that's not a hair that's worth splitting. Like,
Just CYA. I mean,
Yeah, no, you're right. The CYA thing is 100%. Like, I'm just questioning what this state actually does say about it.
I would
You're-
rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
For hunting fucking coyotes at night, yeah. Or antelope during the day, yeah. I would rather be safe than sorry. It's not like I'm doing some sketchy shit, you know.
Right.
It's just I'm just
You're
out
just
here
hunting.
hunting. Exactly. So it's like, why prolong the process?
Even Squeezers told us that like the text permission for the text permission for the coyotes was fine. Like
Yeah.
we didn't need signed notarized nonsense.
No, you don't in Colorado, but have that, and that'll put you in the right direction anyway, whether it's exactly what you need or not. And be like, hey, I have this text from this landowner. I can be here doing this thing. Therefore, I am legal in that aspect. Whether you're doing something else, that's totally different. Whether you're using night vision when you're not supposed to be, or if you're using thermal when you're not supposed to be, or when you only have permission to hunt coyotes and not deer. That's where shit gets a little different. But
Dusky in the chat asked, "Do you need to possess written permission to simply shoot guns on others' private property?"
yes,
No, unless you're invited.
if you're invited, I mean,
You know what I said it wrongly. You don't need written permission to be on somebody else's land if you have their
No.
permission. If you have their oral permission.
I jumped the gun
Um,
on that. You don't need written permission to shoot on their property. But
Having a text message will make it go a lot easier.
it definitely will.
And to be fair, if I am shooting guns on someone else's private property, I'm probably shooting with them.
Could
Or
be.
at them.
Or at them.
Cop rolls up, you're like, dude, we're trying to duel here. Either join in or get the fuck out.
This is a
I've-
legal duel under Colorado law. Piss off.
I've got
made
I've
that
got
up.
a little range at my house. Little range. There's like 5
Listen,
steel
you guy.
targets. But yeah, I let people shoot out here if they want to, because I don't have any.
my IR laser out there.
Yeah, and I don't. I actually have swinging steel targets, which there's only one other range in the county that has that, and they don't swing, so they just ricochet back at you. So,
Good for them.
yeah, if
Oh,
you
no,
want
I
to
got
come
this
out and shoot, you can, but I'm not going to be here all the time. Also, don't fuck up my shit.
Also, your wife might chase us off.
Yeah, 100%. She randomly, I'll get text. Who the fuck is out here shooting? I was like, I don't know. I'll find out. But
Vince wanted to know what he won for being sexier than Sam. You're not sexier than Sam. You're sluttier. There's a difference.
Ooh. Damn. Got him.
It's just because what I'm capable of.
Jesus.
Ugh.
All right. What other nonsense do you
I mean,
nerds have to come up with?
I was about to say, like, we've clocked in almost a full podcast length here. I know we were kind of chit chat about weird shotgun calibers, but
I
think
feel
we
like that would
hold
take
off.
us a while.
No.
I think
I mean, we can touch on it.
I want to shoot this 28 gauge before we talk about 28 gauge, and I'll be able to here very soon.
I wonder what shooting a 16 gauge is like.
I don't know. Mike,
It's
what's it like shooting a 16 gauge out of a 12 gauge?
Well, when you drop the shell in, or when you rack the shell in there, it goes down the tube. Makes a really fun noise. You know those things, those
Just-
toys as a kid, that the slide whistles? It was almost like that, but brass on steel.
Just doing every other, like 16, 12, 16, 12, 16, 12. You'll be fine.
Maybe
If there's
get a
any
little pin on
16 left
end
in the
of-
chamber or in the barrel, it will then be evacuated.
Yeah, get a little pin on the back of the 12 to hit the primer of the 16, and then they both go off at the same time, and then you get more shell. And then the Eurasian dove goes, poof, it's gone.
Well, you see, man, the the flower pedaling of my shotgun barrel actually helps with the pattern because you split the thing in 3 at the end.
Is
I
there
couldn't
an
think of an actual term for that where you split the barrel and it goes.
You ever seen
open
that video
cylinder?
of the dumbass that puts the potato on the end of his 300 Win Mag and then bananas out his barrel in Idaho?
That was like your friend, wasn't it?
No, he was not my friend. He was in my squadron, however.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
You
just- I
knew him.
I knew there was
I
some
didn't-
kind of relation here.
There's 300 people in a squadron. I didn't know him. I knew he was a crew chief. That's it.
300 people versus what? 7.8 billion on this planet? Yes, you knew him.
When you saw you knew him well enough that when you saw the video, you're like, "Oh, hey, I know that guy."
I actually, to be fair, people that I worked with, they were like, "Hey, check this video out," and I was like, "All right, cool. That's fucking ridiculous. How did that happen?" And they're like, "Oh, that was Dingledork. He's a crew chief." And I went out and I was like, "Huh, that is him, huh? What an idiot!" But I'd never said 2 words to the man, so no, I didn't know him.
Mm,
Hey,
Like I
if we're not gonna talk about the 28 gauge tonight, I can talk about some.
Oh.
The one thing I had in my show notes. So I went out and I
only had
did a
one
little bit of
thing?
yeah, it was like one thing.
Huh.
I went out and shot a little bit with my son because he got a 22 from Grandpa, not
Ooh.
for Christmas, but around Christmas. It's an old bolt action Remington tube fed, and I had him out shooting that with the iron sights, and we did okay with that. But after that, he was like, "Dad, can we go shoot the shotgun?" I'm like, "Okay, fine, whatever." So I had him go take everything out there, and I grabbed his shotgun. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab my 12 gauge that I bubbified with the Picatinny rail and the red dot, and decided like I'm gonna go try and shoot that. That's gonna be fun. And then we had trouble throwing the actual clays. So
Those
I
hand
guess
throwers?
the hand throwers, yeah. So it was
They'll
a
get
little
you.
cold, and so back
affected
when
performance.
it was warmer, it seemed like it worked better because they came out of the thrower easier, but he was having trouble throwing them. So at one point, I was just frustrated because I hadn't got to shoot in anything. Actually, I had got to shoot at one that he threw, and I just missed, and I was annoyed. So I grabbed the thrower and I tossed one up, and then just dropped the thrower and pulled up and shot.
Those were good throws. I've got to say, for a thrower, those were damn good throws.
So I got 2 videos, two short little videos that I had my son of me throwing a clay up on my own and dropping it, and then pulling up and shooting with the red dot on the double barrel, and I smacked both of them. But the thing is, I did it 3 times before then, when I was just like frustrated and tossed a clay up and shot it myself with the thrower. I missed both times when the kid threw them, but the 5 times total that I threw a clay up on my own, I actually managed to hit it with, with the shotgun. And I just want to say, I'm not a good shot with a shotgun. The last time I had this thing out, before I put the red dot on it, I hit nothing. I hit exactly 0 clays shooting this thing. And so if you just pull up and put the dot on the, on the clay or just in front of where it's going, it kind of just disintegrates.
Yeah,
Mhm.
funny how that works.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
I've been way overshooting my targets, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's weird, like aiming at something and having a nice little aim point to put on the target works really well.
See,
And now I'm
Dot on a
contemplating.
Dotty on a shotty, man.
Yeah, dude.
I'm contemplating putting one on the boys 410. Like,
Where what you're describing is very similar to what my experience was in terms of, because I mean you're slinging that thing out there and then you get the gun up quick, and that's where to me the whole red dot on the shotgun thing excelled, is those get the gun up quick and shoot, because you don't have to. It's on those quick shots is where I tend to screw them up, because I don't have my cheek pushed all the way down and in. I'm not looking straight down the barrel. My head's a little bit high. With the dot, that's just eliminated. It's, can I see the dot? Yes. All right. Boom.
So all I did was bore sight this, and it seemed to be pretty much on, so I didn't mess with it. And if y'all recall, the last time I went out and shot this shotgun, I kind of determined that I had the stock not quite right. It was a little bit too long. So whenever I mantled the thing and I pulled it up, it was like pointing a little bit down and to the left. But with the dot, that doesn't matter. You just pull up and look for the dot, and then press the trigger. And man, I don't know.
I have only one regret with that project of yours.
What's that?
You didn't put a Picatinny rail above each barrel and have 2 dots.
My only regret is that I have but 1 dot to give to this project.
I wonder if I could fit a 45-degree offset on here. offset red dot.
Oh, Vince, I did not mean to call you out saying now do it one-handed. That was not a call out for you.
Now do it one-handed though.
I mean, I was already inside, but if I'd been outside, I might have done it left-handed, because I got to throw right-handed.
I can see that. Yeah.
But at that point, I might have just double tapped it. Like, I'm just gonna pull both triggers at once and accept the consequences.
Montana Dirt Road says it needs more flashlight and laser. I think it needs a bayonet. Like, you need to get into shop class and figure out some way of getting a bayonet on that thing.
Why not all of them?
I mean, yes.
Well, it's bayonet lug to double barrel shotgun.
There are,
No,
I think there's only 1 or 2 of them I've ever even seen pictures of, but the French back in World War I had a bayonet mount for double barrel shotguns when they were getting super duper desperate. And it's just like, oh.
That's wild.
Okay, I found a flashlight, but I have to mount it backwards.
I can't see.
I have
Blinded
illumination
by the light.
for selfies.
Did you know I used to think that song was Blinded by the Light wrapped up like a douche in the middle of the night? And it wasn't until last year I was like, it's revved up like a deuce? That explains a lot.
Revved up like a douche.
That's what it's
revved up like a deuce.
Douche.
Deuce.
All I hear is douche.
That's all I hear either.
DEUCE. Deuce.
Douche.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
That is a definite terrible
God damn
human
it, Kitty.
experience. That is a definite terrible human experience where you've been listening to a song, you're like, damn, these are good lyrics. Then you look up and go, oh, shit, this song sucks. And then you can't go back to hearing them the old way because now you know better.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at
Vince. I will say that red dot on your double barrel looks incredibly clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gaudy or anything. I do like it.
You can tell
there.
that because when you look at it, you don't say, "Oh, gaudy."
As long as it holds zero, it's staying there, and nothing worked loose over. I'm only shot like 10 rounds through it, so it's not like some torture test of it. But the thing that's going to fail first is going to be my mounting of the Picatinny rail to the shotgun. So as long as those 3 screws hold, we're good.
Bob wants to know what's your favorite weapon mounted light for a shotgun or AR/AK. Mine used to be my Cloud Micro Rain until it suddenly doesn't put out enough. It don't put out no more. The thing's just gotten dimmer over time, and because it's because it's a moonshine one, it technically doesn't have a warranty. I still
Oh,
need to
really?
email them.
She don't
I
put out
still
no
need to
more
email
aluminum.
them. I'm sure they'll take care of it. But in
Yeah.
that case, it's the old Streamlight ProTech,
Yeah.
whatever
that.
the rail mounted one is, because that thing is still chugging along.
The
That
Streamlight
or
ProTech
the problem is they got too many,
HL,
yeah, they got too
the
many letters.
1000 lumen one.
Shite. Yeah, the 1000 lumen one's good. My
Yeah.
second after that, and my first ever weapon mounted light. The downside is it's only a pushtail, but it's the Surefire GX or something like that. G2X or something. Hang on. Yeah, G2X. And it's just a little, dinky flashlight with a tail cap, but it fits in a was that a 1-inch ring or is it 30 millimeter? I think it's a 1-inch ring that most flashlights use. Whatever. It fits in there and they're rock solid little lights. So I don't know.
Nice.
If you want to skip the whole pressure pad nonsense, you just have a little pushy button.
Who doesn't like a little pushy button? They go clicky, 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 clicky.
Then I have a
Clicky, clicky.
Streamlight HL. I don't even remember the name on it. It the TLR1 is a little pistol light with a little round doodad in the middle. Light shroud, fucking head, whatever you want to call it. I have an TLR HLX or something like that. It's got a big old bell of a motherfucker sitting on the end of that.
Oh yeah, that one.
I can light up shit a quarter
remember that
mile
one.
away, bright as day with that thing. I bought it.
Actually,
I was gonna strap it on my AK back when I was just brand new getting into guns. It's like, well, I live in the middle of nowhere. I should get a light that has a lot of throw on it. And then it turns out the flashlight head on it is so damn big that trying to mount it onto the AK, I couldn't hit the rail before the head of the light hit the handguard. It
Dang.
needed a riser. So I was like, oh, never mind.
so Streamlight also has the ProTac 1 and the ProTac 2. The ProTac 1 is like a 300 lumen weapon light. I actually kind of like the ProTac 2 because it's 600 lumens, but it has a relatively high candela
Yeah.
compared to its lumen output. So you have overall less lumens, but you do have more candela. That's actually what I have on my main rifle, just because it's slimmer. So it has a smaller bezel than the HL.
And this is definitely not for spotlighting.
It's for
Calm down,
self-defense in the dark in the woods.
Calm down, fish squeezer.
Squeeze
You
some more
guys
fish.
won't see the light that I'm gonna get.
Is it a big one?
Yes. Do it.
It's a
Is it
big
just
one.
is it just a light bar?
Mm.
He
No,
just carries a truck
no,
battery in
no.
a backpack with a light bar. Dong.
I'm sharing it right now. Hang on.
He's holding it over his
As
head
soon
like
as
that one
I
I'm hanging
get
on.
there.
like it's a boom box.
There we go.
What's that movie where the guy stands outside with the boombox, but it's just Dave outside your house with a light bar?
Good lord.
This one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
What is this
you
nonsense?
shared this before, I
It's
think.
yeah. I did in Signal, but it's
Okay.
a wicked light, but it's got red, green, white, and IR in it.
Wow.
It's also about
And
the
it is-
size of a tankard.
It's fucking massive, but it's fucking insane.
And it bubbas on top of
For a
your
light.
scope through a series of like 3
Yeah,
offset
yes,
mounts. And it's got
Yes, it
and
does.
the pressure pad has a curly cue in the cord.
Who's trying to tell us about this light, Dave or Sam?
I'm just describing it to the people.
What is this? Why? I don't understand this. This looks like a heat lamp for chickens.
It looks like one of the lights I have on
It
the
is
basket of my.
an absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh no!
that's one of my Prado lights.
I died.
No, you're there.
There you are.
Continue.
Okay, good. Cool.
Continue the
Yeah,
joke.
no, I want to get one of those because
You know,
I
look-
want to be able to see the same shit that I can with my light bar on the cracker, but through a scope. So
It looks like you've got a fleshlight strapped on top of your scope.
I'm
Better
not
than a scope
complaining.
strapped on top of your
Also,
flashlight.
It's slow.
it's a light. It's not like I have to zero a light every time I throw it on my scope. If it's close, fine. But it's better than me holding my spotlight underneath my rifle, like as a monopod. And I'm like, okay.
Bob-
and I'm
Bob
trying
said-
to fucking aim it and everything.
Bob says, my eyes are gay now.
Now?
You know, Bob comments so much, we just should make him
Now?
a fourth cast member and call it a day already.
Mhm.
A fourth cat.
Fourth.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
Who are you
don't
missing?
think- you don't
Sorry,
think we
Mike.
have room for 5? It's a team deathmatch now.
Yeah.
It's fine. I can take Mike.
Can you? I can
Oh.
bench press you.
I don't think it's a 3-on-1.
Can you?
I can actually.
You
Sure.
missed a month.
Barely, but I can do it.
Hey,
Vince,
Mike,
hold
how's
still.
your spine?
Doing very well, thank you. It's my knee that sucks.
I'll just show you where you need to
Oh,
tap
thank
it.
you.
So this shut off.
Wait,
It's right,
Shit,
right
it's-
about. It's about 4 inches down, a little bit to the left. Poke, and he just goes. "Eh."
that's a spinal thing. I should see a doctor.
You probably should.
That
Alrighty
Well.
then.
was wonderful.
That's not what she said.
Well, she
Giggity.
wasn't the important part.
But hey, I didn't mind.
For dry, red eyes, clear eyes is awesome.
Whatever happened to that dude?
I think he's
Um,
still around.
He did.
Is he?
Oh, is
he
he?
probably did.
I don't know.
Seems
Ben
like he should
Stein.
be dead.
Ben Stein
his name?
still alive somehow. He's 80 years old.
I like how when you go on Wikipedia and you look up somebody, it shows you a picture of them like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Or
not
10
what
years
they look
ago.
like now.
And then if you find out what they look like now, it's like, oh God. Ugh.
Well, if you Googled Bruce Willis and it showed you, Bruce Willis in the prime of Die Hard, you'd be like, cool. But if it showed you Bruce Willis in the prime of dementia, you'd be like, ah,
I
Aw.
think
it's an
all
algorithm.
celebrity pictures are pictured in that of the early millennial phase.
Mm. Fair.
It's like what we remember them as,
Hmm.
but that's it.
It's a good thing all of our pictures are already ugly.
Mhm.
Well,
Except
that's because
Vince.
we're in them.
Except for Vince,
Vince-
yeah. Apparently he's
Vince
like
has that beard.
drop dead sexy.
Remember, it's slutty. There's a difference.
It's not that bright ass red shirt that he's wearing at all.
No, definitely not.
Well, you know what has to happen now? We have to keep this going at least long enough until Vince shaves. It will happen someday.
Yeah, and hell might freeze over, and
Hey, Vince, I'll race you to see who shaves their face
YouTube
first.
might stop censoring stuff.
Mike, you've been going for 6 months.
I've been
He's
going,
been
for,
going
over
for a
3
decade.
years.
We are
You-
on a decade.
I can start anywhere.
My children don't know what I look like.
Oh,
You
that
know-
was like when my dad finally shaved off his handlebar mustache, which he had my entire life, and I think he shaved it off when I was like 15. And it's like, what the fuck? And he hasn't grown it back since. But it was really weird because he just one morning didn't have it, and it's just like, duh.
So, Bob said Vince doesn't never not look delicious.
Whoa,
And yeah, delicious in the way that, waiter, there's a hair in my soup, delicious. Sure.
waiter, is this a what is this particularly long pube doing in my soup?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Goth, would you retrieve that?
God.
There's hair in my soup. Would you retrieve it?
Would
for
you
me,
comb
please?
my soup, sir?
combed soup? That's...
All right, that's it. We're done.
we We need to get out of here.
Well,
Leave us reviews, send us emails. Gideon Optics affiliate code is moist. Camerado affiliate codes. Let's coid. Coitus.
Jesus. Want
Let's
to try
go.
again?
whoa.
No,
Hey,
I don't
hold
want
on.
to try again. I'm trying to get out of here as fast as possible.
Not quite. Okay. If you're listening live, by the time this comes out, it'll be gone. But right now, Gideon Optics has a really nice sale going on for SHOT Show. It's 20% off. So
Ooh, that's sick.
Also, don't forget about their trade-in program. It's $50 off of pistol optics. Is
Red
that right?
I
And
think.
then $100 off of rifle optics. So
nice.
trade in your old shitty ass Vortex or Simmons and get you a Guardian. Dadgummit.
Guardian. Guardian.
But support the sport and take a buddy hunting. If you like that buddy, tell him about our show. If you don't, send him to Meat Eater. Hit us up at Let's Go Hunt, lghpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and let's go hunt.
Weak blood.
So come soup, I guess.
That is not. No, it is not
No.
good to do that.
It's
Absolutely.
soup.
should do this.
It is
combed soup,
Combed soup.
dotty on a shoddy. Or no, combed
Yeah.
soup, cowabunga it is.
I hate you people.
Perfect.